With the release of the summer newsletter, we have more information to go off of in our Chapter 6 predictions and theories. And I have some predictions of my own. Please, Toby, I need Dustin or Rudy. But no one's really talking about Chapter 7. And sure, you kinda need to know what happens in Chapter 6 to predict what happens in Chapter 7. But that doesn't have to be the case. There's another Chapter 7 that doesn't rely on Chapter 6 at all. Predicting Side B is kinda like predicting Chapter 2, because we really have nothing to go off of. Like, what the fuck is Gaster planning for his extras menu? So why not just go crazy with it? When I was looking for evidence to use in my prediction, I naturally first went to Chapter 3's Sword Route to try to reinterpret what happens in Board 3 specifically. But as I was rewatching the whole thing, I realized that going out of bounds seems to be a motif shared by all 3 boards, which then reminded me of the Egg Room, and would you believe it? It also eerily mirrors the Weird Route in some aspects. Nearly all the evidence I'm using comes from Chapter 3 alone, because Toby thought it would be funny, I guess, to dump all this foreshadowing in one chapter. So let's go bit by bit, starting with... Actually, before that, we need to do a little detour too. In the original Famicom release of Mother, the precursor to Earthbound, there's a well-documented out-of-bounds glitch involving the bread item. The way it works is that if you use the bread instead of eating it, it turns into the breadcrumbs item, which leaves a trail that you can backtrack to by warping you to the starting point of the trail. The way the game saves the starting coordinates is by attaching them to the party member that used the bread. So if there theoretically was a temporary party member, you can have them use the breadcrumbs, leave the party, and then try warping with the breadcrumbs to a set of coordinates that no longer exist. And it just so happens that the main character's next door neighbor fits that bill. I don't think I have to explain how this parallels us using Chris's next door neighbor who serves as a temporary party member in order to go out of bounds with bread that tends to leave crumbs sitting in our inventory. Now, what happens in Mother when you execute this glitch is you get warped to this glitchy monochrome version of the town. And as monochromaticity is a pretty potent motif in Undertale and Deltarune, it's safe to say that Toby didn't stop at just the warping out of bounds part of this one big elaborate Earthbound reference. Okay, now we can discuss. As I mentioned previously, going out of bounds to get to a certain location or to obtain a certain item seems to be part of all 3 boards. In Board 1, you become strong enough to break out of bounds to get the ice key. In Board 2, you sail across a body of water originally blocked off in Tenna's board to reach the Ice Palace, where you navigate the water maze to reach the door where you get the shelter key. And in Board 3, once you're strong enough, you break through a wall of trees meant to block you off from the shelter. Doing it once feels like a subtle nod. Doing it 5 times feels like a way to hammer it right into your brain. Of course, the Sword Route is meant to be a symbolic representation of the Weird Route rather than a literal one. So the way I interpret the 3 boards is the following. Board 1 is a more general description of the Weird Route, where you get a weapon that allows you to get stronger, eventually letting you break out of the conventions the game set for you. Boards 2 and 3 are more specific. In Board 2, we go out of our way to do something we're not intended to be doing, and on the way, we use the White Cloak to get stronger, eventually using her to cross the water maze, which is clearly a nod to the lake, to get to the other side, where she is used up in the process. After successfully crossing, we, or more accurately, Chris, gets used up. In Board 3, we are on the other side. Us killing Susie and Ralze symbolizes us not needing the fun gang here. It's just us. We traverse this copy of Hometown, and only after getting strong enough can we access this version's shelter. Inside, we meet this cloaked figure who, as Toby hits us on the head with his reading comprehension stick, has the power to control the horde of cats Pink was referring to, the image friends, plural. Now, This all fits together nicely and all, and I can really leave it off here, but for some reason this chapter's egg room I think lends more credence to this interpretation. For some reason, oh sorry, I forgot to play this section's intro, let me do that. Chapter 3's egg room is unlike any other. While in every other chapter so far, accessing the egg room consisted of us going back and forth multiple times, this one was, okay, so you have to go to this one minigame, got that? Good. Because this is fucking weird as hell, and it's filled with more fucking out-of-bounds shit. Like, let's talk about how the first step is you setting up for the ability to be able to cross a body of water in a pseudo out-of-bounds location. Either I'm going insane or that feels way too on the nose. Even within Man Country itself, there's this Rudin that's trying to see as far as they can, which also is a nod to going out of bounds due to the fact that what you see in the binoculars looks straight up like a screen grab from the Earthbound glitch. The fact that that's referenced at all gives it actual tangible significance over previously extrapolating from the lake scene. Okay. Onto the Forgotten Man himself, though. He recounts that the whole world looked like this, which, combined with the weird Rudin thing and just the general aesthetic of Man Country, I'm taking to mean this is the foundation that Gaster built everything upon, from which Side A and Side B diverged. The fact that you can see out of bounds from Man Country connects it to that area. So with all that said, here's my full prediction for what will happen in Chapter 7 Side B. We load into the chapter having either crossed fully to the other side, or being nearly there and having to push Chris to their limits to fully cross. Once we do end up emerging on the other side, we'll be without a vessel, since both Chris and Noelle were used up in the process of transporting us to Side B. That would force Gaster to cave in and give us the vessel we made in the Garner Maker, which would stylistically fit the glitchy monochrome copy of Hometown he'd then drop us in. We'd then go about the town, treating the game like a more traditional RPG, where we killed bosses, aka Garner versions of the innocent townsfolk, to obtain the codes to the shelter. Once we enter the shelter, we'd meet face to face with whoever the fuck Eram's supposed to be, and we'll have this extreme, intense boss fight where we'll actually finally see the friendlings definitively. And after that's done, we'll have some sort of fourth wall break moment? Maybe? I'm glad you entertained my Gaster conspiracy. I do plan on making more videos in this style going forward about whatever topic I want to ramble about. It's just that Deltarune has taken up a huge portion of my mind recently. I may also sprinkle in some gaming videos, I don't know. If you want to see that, why not help out a new channel? Thanks a lot.